Well, they'll go off and cool down, get ready again, and come back probably in about I'd say half an hour's time. Busy program for the women's sprinters, actually. They have the semi-finals packed into the program this morning to make room for the two Madison events, which are the long events, the almost hour-long races this afternoon. And the sprint finals take place at 2 p.m. On to the second quarter-final of the day in a busy program. Lee Hye-jin on your screen. I don't have to remind you what a week it's been for Korea. Joint top of the medal table with People's Republic of China right now. Lee Hye-jin up against the host nation representative, Krismonita Dwi Putri. Lee will be the favourite on paper. Putri rode well, though, yesterday and showed a real turn of pace. Goes without saying the backing she will have. No Indonesian medal so far in the velodrome. And he came close in the final for bronze of the individual pursuit yesterday. Justina Prianta was well beaten in her search for bronze, however. But a fourth place, their best result so far. The very presence of a velodrome, as long as it's maintained and used, will help in the search for glory. And a lot of track nations who do not have the luxury of their own velodrome. Talking in Europe as well, North America. Expensive stuff, track cycling. 1.5 laps remain of this first match in the quarterfinals between Lee and Putri. Putri in the red will be cheered on by those representing the host nation. The Indonesian flags fly as Putri is going to give it a go. The bell rings. Lee at the front in the white for Korea. Putri is going to have to make some attempt to come around now. She's doing that in the back straight, but Lee looks like she has the speed to hold it. Out of turn 4 they come, and Lee will hold it. And she'll win by almost a bike length. Lee Hye-jin of Korea ahead. Putri must win the next match if she's to stay in the competition. Now, how will they have dealt with this in the camp last night? An all-China battle. Zhong Chanxi, silver last time in Incheon, gold in the team sprint earlier this week. On the right-hand side, her team sprint teammate, Lin Junhong, 27 years of age, bronze 4 years ago. Well, there is such thing as the All-China Games. Very, very big sports event in China. The different regions compete against each other. A lot of their selection is made for Olympic and international competition there. So they will have ridden each other against each other, pardon me, before. And of course there's training. but this is a little different. Who's going to be their Asian Games representative in the semi-final? China will have one. And they have two world-class athletes here. This is the 9th time we've had the sprint competition at the Asian Games, and China have dominated throughout most of this event's history. In fact, they won every single one until Incheon, when Sarah Lee of Hong Kong took the victory. 2 laps remain. Still Zhong at the front. Lin Junhong wearing number 22. Zhong with 21 on her back. 1 lap to go. Zhong is in the slipstream now. Lin still there. Zhong is accelerating as they come into turn 3. Out of turn 4, has to make a last dash to the line, and she's going to do it. For some reason, you always felt that Zhong could up the gear again. And Zhong Chanxi is 1 up in the Chinese derby. Easy in the end. Final one of the quarterfinals. And these are the 2 closest matched athletes in terms of the times they set in 200 meters flying lap qualification. Jessica Lee, born in Hong Kong, raised in Glasgow, has gone back to the land of her birth to compete. She was deemed too old for the Great British Programme. 27 years of age up against Cho Sun-young, riding for Korea. Cho, who set a pretty solid time in that 200 metres flying lap yesterday until some of the big names were wheeled out towards the end, and in the case of Sarah Lee, breaking the record. Jessica Lee just missed out on a medal the other day in the Keirin, in 4th place. Hong Kong's chances of a medal would be greatly increased if they could get a second rider through. That's assuming that Sarah Lee completes the job she started. Of course, Jessica and Sarah Lee, no relation. They live most of their lives on different sides of the planet. Jessica Lee at the back, who took up cycling after she finished her university studies, and at university in Scotland she was a rower. Cho hoping to aim to put 2 Koreans in the semi as well. Lee Hye-yin 1 up against Putri. The duel should be favourite to win as Jessica Lee starts to try and think about making a move from behind. She's going to go for it now as the bell rings, using the height as well. Watch as she might try to dive down, but it's Cho who's dealing with this really well at the moment. Into the back straight they go. Cho still at the front into turn 3. Jessica Lee accelerating. Does she have it to come through? I don't think she does. It's Cho, very easily indeed. Cho Sun-young 1, Jessica Lee 0. And the Hong Konger leaves it all to do. Cho with 1 foot in the semi-finals. So that's opened up the duels for today. And next up will be the men's first round Keirin first heat. So we go to round one of the men's Keirin. The Keirin is an event we saw a couple of days ago for the women, won by Sarah Lee of Hong Kong. If you haven't seen it before, it is Asia's own event, invented in Japan. A favourite of betting halls up and down the country. Where people would go in, look at a start list like this and place a bet, rather like you would in much other places in the world, watching the horses. It's Wakimoto up for Japan, Ponomarov riding for Kazakhstan, Im Chebin back from his sprint bronze medal yesterday to compete again. Eshan Khademi of Iran, Ranjit Singh rides for India, Pugu Admadi for Indonesia, and Jai Angsutasawit was the man in yellow there. He represents Thailand. There are 7 riders in this heat, 6 riders in the other 2 heats. And the way it works here, the first 2 riders in each heat qualify to the second round and get to miss the first round repechage. Every other rider who doesn't finish in the first 2 has to ride again this morning. The rest go straight through to the afternoon session. Here's Khademi of Iran. Ponomaryov, Kazakhstan, looking for their first medal that would be better than a bronze. Well, it looks as though we can go round again because I don't think the Derny's ready. Keep the legs warm. The Derny is the small, in this case electric bike, that the riders will sit behind for 3 of the 6 laps. 1.5 kilometres this race. And it's a bunch race. There is the Derny with its pilot. The pilot taking his job very seriously, as he should. I caught him asking for a bit of divine intervention the other day, looking to the heavens. No need to be that nervous. He did a very good job. But it isn't an easy job, keeping all of those medal hopes on track. Hoping you don't take anybody down. Oh, one more lap maybe. There we go. And you can hear the cries of Indonesia already. And there we go again, that nervous look. Just turn the key. You'll be all right. Nod from the Commissar. There's Yuka Wakimoto. Japan wanting some sprint success. It's normally their dominion. To settle for silver yesterday in the men's competition. Can they take something in the Keirin, which is a sport they invented? They're a discipline of the sport, maybe, for those of you already on your 3rd coffee of the morning. Riders will be stopped this time, put into position. And the order from right to left is the order in which they will have to stay behind the Derny for the first 3 laps. As soon as the Derny moves, the riders will have the wind in their faces. And they will be allowed to attack, sprint, race however they want for the final 3 laps, the final 750 metres. 3 of these heats in round 1. This is the most crowded. 7 bikes on the track. Here comes the Derny. As soon as it comes past the riders, the gun will go and they'll be allowed to start riding. Time to get behind that Derny then. It's the Indian rider who has to be first, Singh. And at the back, Wakimoto of Japan. So this is the order they will ride the first 3 laps in. Nobody allowed ahead of the Derny. No movement up or down the field allowed yet. The first 3 laps, waiting, watching, also the test of skill, just staying where you are, getting into position. Remember, no brakes here, large gears to keep on top of. That is the Derny pilot watches the speed. The purpose of the Derny is to get the riders up to speed here as they draft it. One more lap of the Derny to go. 4 laps of the race remain. Here we go. Off goes the Derny. The race proper starts. The Indonesian athlete up towards the front. And you can see that the Thai Ansung Sadasawit making sure he puts a bit of distance and daylight between those behind. There's a few of the favourites in a second group here. Thinking certainly of the Korean Im, fastest in 200-metre qualifying. Ang Sutasawit as Im now makes his move, coming up to take the bell. He's in the white jersey and the blue shorts. Wakimoto in the black and white as well. Two big riders who want to make sure they don't have to ride again later on this morning. A place in the next round is up for grabs as they go into the final turn. It's Im and Wakimoto who should take the places they do. They're through to the next round. The other 5 riders we will see again in the next half an hour. Im and Wakimoto congratulating each other on a job well done. It was Wakimoto who took first place, Im who took second. The rest, well, that doesn't matter. Only 2 qualified straight away. Im and Wakimoto with those green Qs next to their name. The rest of the field back to the start line for the repêchage. So we move to Heat 2. Xu Chao, Lo Tzu Chun, Terry Kusuma. Iso rides alongside O. And Mohammed Shah Firdaus Sahrom, beaten semi-finalist yesterday in the individual sprint. There's Iso, India's first ever world junior champion in cycling. Lo Tzu Chun, riding for Hong Kong, China. Terry Kusuma. Shah Firdaus Sahrom. He's decked out all in black. And O Jesse Ok in white. Derny asked to start its mission. Bit of chest beating, thigh slapping. Any way they can G themselves up. Same deal here, although there are only 6 riders. 2 qualify, the first 2 that is, for the next round. It's O of Korea who's in the first position. Malaysian Shah Firdaus in the second. Then comes Kusuma representing Indonesia. Fourth wheel, Law of Hong Kong. Fifth wheel, Iso of India. And from the Nicobar Islands. And at the back, Xu Chao of China. Derny will disappear here as they start to move. And Law making his move. It's an active start of this race, still with 2.5 laps to go. Law at the front. They can't expend too much energy yet. Always alongside him in the white. Kusuma coming behind in the red and grey. Shah making his presence felt. What might be boxed in towards the bottom here. It's a good time to move up for Xu Chao, and he's got plenty of track to do so. Oh, and the Chinese hits the front at just the right time. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from Xu Chao. Accelerates well, and he's riding away from them. Turn 3, Xu is going to get this easily. Xu Chao to take it through, and behind it is a photo finish between Oh and Shah to see who makes it with them. Deary, deary me. And that is something that Xu could have done without. Oh, what on earth happened there? And he's hurt himself. He has hurt himself. Oh, the race already won. And we really could have done without that. Thankfully, he's conscious. He doesn't want the neck brace. Celebration there. Well. I'm not too sure the Indian rider Iso did anything wrong, really. Thankfully, he's back on his feet. And Xu, I'm sure we will see in the next round. What a bizarre ending to a brilliant win by Xu Chao. I can tell you that it's Mohamed Shah Firdaus Sahram who has joined him in the next round. 0.003 of a second quicker than Oh, who has been forced to go down to repechage. Law finishing last. Iso down in 4th place at 200ths down. Xu had already won it by this point. And then that is 6th, a 7th, an 8th of a wheel. The margin of difference between Sahram and Oh. Confirmation of the 2 qualifiers from China and Malaysia. Xu, we hope, recovers well enough physically from that crash to take his place this afternoon in round 2. To heat 3. And more Chinese participation with Bi Wenjun wearing the red. Mohamed Daneshvar Khorram, who's already been a medalist, remember, in sprinting 4 years ago. Uday Nita, Pavel Vorzev, Mohamed Azizul Hasni Awang, gold medalist yesterday in the sprint, and former Kirin world champion, the favourite for this event, alongside Pongtep Tapimai. There he is on your screen, riding in the yellow of Thailand. And we'll go around again because we're not ready. I'm sure they're just checking the track out after that crash on the other side. There's Uday Nita. Mohamed Daneshvar, reigning champion. And then he beat Watanabe, no longer here. Yosai Ng, who took bronze, represented Malaysia. He is since retired, but there is the former world champion Awang in black. Here comes the Derny. And we are all ready to go. Heat 3 of 3 in the Kirin first round. 2 qualify from the 6 on the start line. That's Awang, the former world champion, who is there at the front. Behind him, the reigning champion in the Asian Games, Mohammad Danishvar Khurram, Iran's only track cycling medal 4 years ago. They made sure it was a good one. Uday Nitter in third place. Pavel Vorzev, the only Kazakhstani sprinter on the track at these games, who's really done anything. Sergei Ponomaryov has one more chance in repechage here. Comes up at the end of the session, by the way. For those of you setting your watches, trying to plan your days, afternoon session starts a good 3 hours earlier today. It is a packed session, the longest session we'll have at these games, starting at 1 p.m. local time. And that's GMT plus 7 for those of you around the continent who want to plan your day. So there goes the Derny, and we can have movement in the race. Danishvar Khurram, racing in the colours of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Here comes B. And B of China with 1.5 laps to go. He's trying to string out the group. Going to take this up from the front as the bell rings. Nita behind him of Japan. 3/4 of a lap to go. Look at the speed here. Nita is gunning. Nita is going free. Here comes Awang, the former world champion. Sprint champion yesterday. Wants to get through it the first time of asking and does. It's Nita, it's Awang. Both of them, the quality riders, are in round 2. Awang leaving it till half a lap to go. He had a busy day yesterday sprinting away. With a bit of soreness to be pedalled out of those legs this morning. Had a look round, did what he had to do. Made sure. Don't need to win the race in the first round. It's the final race that counts. As a former world champion, he is an expert at making it through the rounds. Nita, the winner of Heat 3. He, alongside Awang, advancing to the second round. Those of you interested in the timing, 400ths the difference between first and second. And then another 10th of a second through to third place. Qualified for the second round already. Wakimoto, Shu, Nita, Im, Sahrom and Awang. Pretty prestigious lineup to be joined by those who make it through from repechage. Yes. Now, according to my calculations, we should be heading for the second race of the women's quarterfinals. There we go. Those riders who already took victory will be hoping to make the semis. Semis coming up pretty soon in this session. Not too much rest today for the women sprinters. There are the heats again. Cho and Zhong both one up in their respective heats 3 and 4. And a final chat from the coach. And a heat that really must be won. Chat in French, translated into Japanese. In the meantime, there's ultimate confidence shown from Sarah Lee. Turned up late. Parked her backside for about 10 seconds on the chair, got up again, clapped her hands and strolled onto the track. The confidence of a 4-time Asian Games gold medalist. A multiple Asian sprint champion. Here a three-time continental champion, defending champion in this event as well at the Asian Games. Gold medal in the Keirin 2 days ago. Making it seem as if this is a matter of fact. 5 minutes. Just a job to do. And the task facing Ryo Ota of Japan is to try and make Sarah Lee look a little silly. Can do that by overturning this result. Lee looks around at her, finally paying her some attention. Ota, until the race started then, didn't have one look at her opponent. It's the thing about sprinting, you can't just ignore your opponent and ride your own race. They're a timed event. It's only timed at qualification level, the 200 metres flying lap. Sarah Lee from the back at 31 years of age. Only has to win over 3 laps here to make the next round. She is 1 up in this quarter-final. Here we go, into the final lap. Ota is going to take it up early. Sarah Lee is going to try and get into the slipstream now. Still has to come around, but look at the speed she is carrying. She's carrying bags of it. Turn 3, turn 4, it was easy in the first. It's even easier in the second. Sarah Lee is through, and the defending champion has hardly had to get out of first gear this morning. Semi-finals for Sarah Lee. Ryo Ota is out. And it was matter of fact, wasn't it? Krismonita Dwi Putri of Indonesia must win this race over 3 laps if she's to take it to a decider. Lee Hye-jin had a rather easy time of it in Heat 1. The Korean can join Sarah Lee in the next round if she wins this. Cries of Indonesia from the crowd again. Disappointed around half an hour ago when they took each other on for the first time. It's a big ask though for Putri against one of the fastest riders in the draw. Lee Hye-jin. I'm riding for a nation that is on top of the continent right now. Korea Republic have broken records. Not just games, but continentals records. And they have 3 gold medals to show so far. 7 medals in total. Lee to come around and hit the front as the bell rings. Putri, though, able to react with a speed turn of her own. Lee going the shortest way around the track. She has the position. Does Putri have the speed to come around her? Doesn't look like it for the moment, but one last chance in the home straight. It's not going to happen. Home fans disappointed. Lee Hye-jin through to round 2. Easy does it. And save some energy for the next round. Quarterfinal 3. Zhong Qiangxi, Lin Junhong, China versus China. Zhong, who took the first up against Lin, who needs to win this. Zhong wearing 21, Lin wearing 22. 3 laps. One Chinese rider has to go out. Both 27 years of age, both Asian Games medalists, Asian Games gold medalists together earlier this week when they won the team sprint. The next 3 laps, they're enemies. Understandably tense, understandably so, waiting and watching. Approaching the final half of the race now, 1.5 laps to the line from this point. Lin, who's at the front, Zhong try to come around and chase her. It's Zhong who's there. Lin can't get around though. And it's going to be 2-0. It's going to be easy. Almost too easy watching it. Zhong Qiangxi winning 2-0. Lin Junhong not able to pick up the speed. So to quarter-final number 4. Can Jessica Lee be the only first race loser to force a decider? So far it's been 2-0, 2-0 and 2-0 again. Cho Sun-young looked good in the first. Jessica Lee needs some improvement. And this is her first Asian Games. The last time we had the Asian Games, she hadn't even ridden a bike properly. Sims trained with Team Scotland up there on her home velodrome in Glasgow. She's found life as an elite athlete after changing from working as a French chef. Very, very difficult, but she's enjoying the challenge. Wants to go to Tokyo. Showed enough form this week to show she's certainly good enough. Imagine another couple of years coaching and experience would bring her on even more. This, though, is her last chance to get near the medals. She was 4th in the keirin, and she needs to win this race to force a decider, otherwise she's going out of the Asian Games. And that'll be the last time we see her for at least another 4 years at this level. Two laps to go. Cho Sun-young knows she has plenty of fans watching on. The Koreans have been one of the nations who've brought more people to watch the cycling. Approaching the final lap now. Jessica Lee, Cho Sun-young. Lee at the front for Hong Kong. Cho trying to come around. Lee tries to budge up a little to put her off. Lee still at the front though. Cho has it all to do as they come into the final straight. Here's Lee. It's going to 3. Jessica Lee makes it 1-1. And this tie is alive and kicking. Brilliant ride from Jessica Lee. And she enjoyed that. Oh, Cho Sun-young showed the speed in match 1. Lee was brilliant tactically and quick enough there. We did see the speed the other day in the Keirin. Seemed to have disappeared there in match 1, but refound it here in match 2. You can see giving absolutely everything, effort face on, and it's by half a bike length. Lee the victor. Cho having to ride against her again. So we'll take a short pause before race 3, the decider. We're back with you in just a few moments' time.
เรามีมหกรรมกีฬานะครับระดับเอเชียเลยก็คือเอเชียนเกมครั้งที่ 18 นะครับที่จัดขึ้นที่ประเทศอินโดนีเซียนะครับอย่าลืมส่งกำลังใจครับไทยเชียร์ไทยครับเชียร์ทัพนักกีฬาไทยของเรานะครับในทุกๆประเภทเลยและที่สำคัญนะครับคุณสามารถรับชมการถ่ายทอดสดได้ครับกฎหมายเลข 23 ช่อง Workpoint นอกจากนั้นยังไม่พอนะครับทุกๆช่องทางออนไลน์ของ Workpoint นะครับก็จะถ่ายทอดสดเช่นกันนะครับติดตาม
เอเชียนเกม 2018 เริ่ม 14 สิงหาคมนี้
ไม่ทองคำสัปดาห์นี้พบกับโชว์สุดพิเศษจากเพชรสหรัฐ
บ่เลิกได้บ่บ่จบได้บ่
และกบสุพจน์
บ่ได้หลายใจแต่เจ้าฮักได้หลายคน
เสาร์อาทิตย์ 6:20 ทางช่อง Workpoint กฎหมายเลข 23
ลุคนี้ชอบอยากให้ครูสลาแต่งแบบนี้บ้าง
เห็นเพื่อนๆเขาไปเล่นกันเราไม่อยากไปเล่นแบบเพื่อนเขาหรอ
ไม่อยากช่วยแม่ทำงานดีกว่าเพราะว่าเราเห็นแบบเหงื่อแม่เห็นแม่กลับมาแล้วนอนเหนื่อยแบบไม่คุยแม่แล้วก็รู้สึกเลยว่าท่านเหนื่อยมากกว่าเราอยากให้แม่สบายแล้วก็อยากให้พี่ชายแบบหายสนิทเลยค่ะพี่จะได้ไม่ต้องทรมานเหมือนว่าแสบตาแล้วก็แม่จะได้ไม่ต้องทรมานเพราะว่าแม่ท่านก็แก่แล้วก็ต้องมาทำงานหนักๆเพื่อเราเอง
อาทิตย์ร้อยล้านรอยยิ้มนักสู้เสาร์ที่ 1 กันยายน 9 โมงเช้าห้ามพลาด
ไม้ทองคำเด็กสัปดาห์นี้เตรียมหาจนท้องแข็งกับการมาของพวกเขาเหล่านี้
น้องเจลลี่เหรอลูก
ใช่ค่ะ
อุ้ยทำไมน่ารักอย่างเงี้ย สวยๆอย่างนี้มีหนุ่มๆมาจีบหรือเปล่ามีแฟนหรือยังจ๊ะ
มีแล้วค่ะชื่อตุลกับไอ้เชนแต่ว่ามีใครมาจีบเยอะเลยค่ะแต่หนูชอบแค่2 คนตุลกับไอ้เชนเพราะว่าหนูไม่อยากหลายใจค่ะ
น้องนนท์
ครับ
น้องนนท์หิ้วอะไรมาลูก
ขนมเทียนแก้วทำเองครับแม่ทำให้ครับ
เอามาทำอะไรอะลูก
เอาไม่ให้กรรมการน้ำลายไหลเล่นๆครับ
อยากไปประกวดร้องเพลงอยากไปประกวดมากเลยเหรอน้องก็ร้องให้เพราะๆสิลูก
ครับแล้ววันนี้ฝันของเขาพวกเราพร้อมจะเติมเต็มให้เสียงปรบมือต้อนรับน้องเจ้านะ
กับเสียงร้องแสนไพเราะที่ทำเอาผู้ใหญ่อย่างเราต้องทึ่งเสาร์อาทิตย์นี้ 20:05 น.อย่าสายนะจ๊ะ
ไม่ได้ลูกกดแค่นี้ไม่ได้จะไม่ได้สักผ่านเลยต้องกด
แม่เอาก็ได้ค่ะคุณป้าสุนารี
ใกล้เข้ามาทุกทีแล้วนะครับกับมหกรรมกีฬาที่ยิ่งใหญ่ที่สุดในเอเชียกับเอเชียนเกมครั้งที่ 18 ครับคนไทยทุกคนอย่าลืมส่งกำลังใจไปเชียร์ทัพนักกีฬาไทยด้วยนะครับสำหรับเอเชียนเกมครั้งนี้ครับจะเกิดขึ้นที่กรุงจาการ์ตานะครับที่ปาเลมบังประเทศอินโดนีเซียครับชมการแข่งขันถ่ายทอดสดที่ช่อง Workpoint นะครับไทยเชียร์ไทย
เอเชียนเกม 2018 เริ่ม 14 สิงหาคมนี้ถ่ายทอดสดทางช่อง Workpointเมื่อดาราสาวสุดเซ็กซี่มาปะทะหนุ่มอารมณ์ดีมากกวน
แตงโมฟังป่าพ่อนะครับมึงใจเย็นๆ
ปิดไฟครัวจะแตกหรือไม่พบกันเสาร์ที่ 1 กันยายนบ่ายโมงครึ่งทางช่อง Workpoint
โอเคฮะยังไม่ร้อนแตงโมต้องรอให้ร้อนก่อนเฮ้ยบอกว่าอย่าเพิ่งใส่มันก็ดื้ออย่างเงี้ยมันถึงไม่เจริญไงโอ้โห
เต้นให้สตูแตกพบกันเร็วขึ้น 4 โมงเย็นทางช่อง Workpoint
มาถึงแล้วนะครับเดือนสิงหาคมนี้คุณห้ามไปไหนนะครับใช้ชีวิตแบบมีความสุขแบบกองเชียร์นั่นเอเชียนเกมนะครับเปิดแบบยิ่งใหญ่มากนะครับแล้วก็ Workpoint เนี่ยนะครับถ่ายทอดด้วยนะครับไทยเชียร์ไทยทัพนักกีฬาไทยของเราต้องได้เหรียญทองเยอะที่สุด
เอเชียนเกม 2018 เริ่ม 14 สิงหาคมนี้ถ่ายทอดสดทางช่อง Workpoint
เวลาส่องกระจกบางทีเคยรู้สึกนะว่าฉันยังไม่ดีพอ
รู้สึกเหมือนกันค่ะว่าต้องดีมากกว่านี้ชีวิตเรามันไม่ได้ง่ายเลยในการที่คุณมาด่าฉันทั้งหมดในชีวิตเนี่ยอยากให้คุณมองย้อนกลับไปว่ากว่าฉันจะมามีวันที่ให้คุณได้ด่าได้เนี่ยฉันต้องก้าวข้ามอะไรมาบ้างซึ่งมันยากมากกับผู้หญิงคนหนึ่ง
อาทิตย์นี้ 4:05 นาทีทางช่อง Workpoint 23
เรามีมหกรรมกีฬานะครับระดับเอเชียเลยก็คือเอเชียนเกมครั้งที่ 18 นะครับที่จัดขึ้นที่ประเทศอินโดนีเซียนะครับอย่าลืมส่งกำลังใจครับไทยเชียร์ไทยครับเชียร์ทัพนักกีฬาไทยของเรานะครับในทุกๆประเภทเลยและที่สำคัญนะครับคุณสามารถรับชมการถ่ายทอดสดได้ครับกฎหมายเลข 23 ช่อง Workpoint นอกจากนั้นยังไม่พอนะครับทุกๆช่องทางออนไลน์ของ Workpoint นะครับก็จะถ่ายทอดสดเช่นกันนะครับติดตาม
เอเชียนเกม 2018 เริ่ม 14 สิงหาคมนี้
ไม่ทองคำสัปดาห์นี้พบกับโชว์สุดพิเศษจากเพชรสหรัฐ
บ่เลิกได้บ่บ่จบได้บ่
และกบสุพจน์
บ่ได้หลายใจแต่เจ้าฮักได้หลายคน
เสาร์อาทิตย์ 6:20 ทางช่อง Workpoint กฎหมายเลข 23
ลุคนี้ชอบ อยากให้ครูสลาแต่งแบบนี้บ้าง
เห็นเพื่อนๆเขาไปเล่นกันเราไม่อยากไปเล่นแบบเพื่อนเขาหรอ
ไม่อยากช่วยแม่ทำงานดีกว่า เพราะว่าเราเห็นแบบเหงื่อแม่เห็นแม่กลับมาแล้วนอนเหนื่อยแบบไม่คุยแม่แล้วก็รู้สึกเลยว่าท่านเหนื่อยมากกว่าเราอยากให้แม่สบายแล้วก็อยากให้พี่ชายแบบหายสนิทเลยค่ะพี่จะได้ไม่ต้องทรมานเหมือนว่าแสบตาแล้วก็แม่จะได้ไม่ต้องทรมานเพราะว่าแม่ท่านก็แก่แล้วก็ต้องมาทำงานหนักๆเพื่อเราเอง
อาร์ตร้อยล้านรอยยิ้มนักสู้เสาร์ที่1 กันยายน 9 โมงเช้าห้ามพลาด
ไม้ทองคำเด็กสัปดาห์นี้เตรียมหาจนท้องแข็งกับการมาของพวกเขาเหล่านี้
น้องเจลลี่เหรอลูก
ใช่ค่ะ
โอ้ยทำไมน่ารักอย่างเงี้ยสวยๆอย่างงี้มีหนุ่มๆมาจีบหรือเปล่ามีแฟนหรือยังจ๊ะ
มีแล้วค่ะชีตุนกับไอ้เชนแต่ว่ามีใครมาจีบเยอะเลยค่ะแต่หนูชอบแค่2 คนตุนกับไอ้เชนเพราะว่าหนูไม่อยากหลายใจค่ะ
น้องนนท์
ครับ
น้องนนท์หิ้วอะไรมาลูก
ขนมเทียนแก้วทำเองครับแม่ทำให้ครับ
เอามาทำอะไรอะลูก
เอาไม่ให้กรรมการน้ำลายไหลเล่นๆครับ
อยากไปประกวดร้องเพลงอยากไปประกวดมากเลยเหรอน้องก็ร้องให้เพราะๆสิลูก
ครับแล้ววันนี้ฝันของเขาพวกเราพร้อมจะเติมเต็มให้เสียงปรบมือต้อนรับน้องเจ้านาย
กับเสียงร้องแสนไพเราะที่ทำเอาผู้ใหญ่อย่างเราต้องทึ่งเสาร์อาทิตย์นี้ 20:05 นาทีอย่าสายนะจ๊ะ
ไม่ได้ลูกกดแค่นี้ไม่ได้จะไม่ได้สักผ่านเลยต้องกด
เอาก็ได้ค่ะคุณป้าสุนารี
ใกล้เข้ามาทุกทีแล้วนะครับกับมหกรรมกีฬาที่ยิ่งใหญ่ที่สุดในเอเชียกับเอเชียนเกมครั้งที่ 18 ครับคนไทยทุกคนอย่าลืมส่งกำลังใจไปเชียร์ทัพนักกีฬาไทยด้วยนะครับสำหรับเอเชียนเกมครั้งนี้ครับจะเกิดขึ้นที่กรุงจาการ์ตานะครับที่ปาเลมบังประเทศอินโดนีเซียครับชมการแข่งขันถ่ายทอดสดที่ช่อง WorkPoint นะครับไทยเชียร์ไทย
เอเชียนเกม 2018 เริ่ม 14 สิงหาคมนี้ถ่ายทอดสดทางช่อง WorkPointเมื่อดาราสาวสุดเซ็กซี่มาปะทะลุมอารมณ์ดีมากกวน
แตงโมฟังป่าพ่อนะครับมึงใจเย็นๆ
ปิดไฟครัวจะแตกหรือไม่พบกันเสาร์ที่ 1 กันยายนบ่ายโมงครึ่งทางช่อง WorkPoint
โอเคฮะยังไม่ร้อนแตงโมต้องรอให้ร้อนก่อนเฮ้ยบอกว่าอย่าเพิ่งใส่มันก็ดื้ออย่างเงี้ยมันถึงไม่เจริญไงโอ้โห
เต้นให้สตูแตกเร็วขึ้น 4 โมงเย็นทางช่อง WorkPoint
มาถึงแล้วนะครับเดือนสิงหาคมนี้คุณห้ามไปไหนนะครับใช้ชีวิตแบบมีความสุขแบบกองเชียร์นั่นเอเชียนเกมนะครับเปิดแบบยิ่งใหญ่มากนะครับแล้วก็ WorkPoint เนี่ยนะครับถ่ายทอดด้วยนะครับไทยเชียร์ไทยทัพนักกีฬาไทยของเราต้องได้เหรียญทองเยอะที่สุดเอเชียนเกม 2018 เริ่ม 14 สิงหาคมนี้ถ่ายทอดสดทางช่อง WorkPoint
เวลาส่องกระจกเนี่ยบางทีเคยรู้สึกไหมว่าฉันยังไม่ดีพอ
รู้สึกเหมือนกันค่ะว่าต้องดีมากกว่านี้ชีวิตเราอ่ะมันไม่ได้ง่ายเลยในการที่คุณมาด่าฉันทั้งหมดในชีวิตเนี่ยอยากให้คุณมองย้อนกลับไปว่ากว่าฉันจะมามีวันที่ให้คุณได้ด่าได้เนี่ยฉันต้องก้าวข้ามอะไรมาบ้างซึ่งมันยากมากกับผู้หญิงคนหนึ่ง
อาทิตย์นี้ 4:05 นาทีทางช่อง WorkPoint 23
เรามีมหกรรมกีฬานะครับระดับเอเชียเลยก็คือเอเชียนเกมครั้งที่ 18 นะครับที่จัดขึ้นที่ประเทศอินโดนีเซียนะครับอย่าลืมส่งกำลังใจครับไทยเชียร์ไทยครับเชียร์ทัพนักกีฬาไทยของเรานะครับในทุกๆประเภทเลยและที่สำคัญนะครับคุณสามารถรับชมการถ่ายทอดสดได้ครับกฎหมายเลข 23 ช่อง Workpoint นอกจากนั้นยังไม่พอนะครับทุกๆช่องทางออนไลน์ของ Workpoint นะครับก็จะถ่ายทอดสดเช่นกันนะครับติดตาม
เอเชียนเกม 2018 เริ่ม 14 สิงหาคมนี้
ไม่ทองคำสัปดาห์นี้พบกับโชว์สุดพิเศษจากเพชรสหรัฐบนเลิกได้บ่บนจบได้บ่
Spent more than half of her life in Glasgow, place she now calls home in Scotland. Deemed too old for the British programme when she learnt to ride a bike at 24 and discovered she was very talented at it indeed. Trained with Team Scotland, now riding towards the Olympic Games for Hong Kong. She's up against, on paper, a faster rider in the shape of Lee Hye-jin of Korea Republic, the nation that has been flying at these Asian Games so far on the track. Lee Hye-jin won the first of the 3 heats in this quarter-final very easily indeed. Smiles as she's back onto the track. Jessica Lee bounced back brilliantly in the last heat. It's Jessica Lee who's in position 1 here. Lee Hye-jin, who will start in position 2. All the pressure on this. Last chance for both of these athletes for the next 4 years at an Asian Games to get close to the medals. Jessica Lee was 4th in the keirin. Lee Hye-jin, who was quicker in qualifying. Lee, 27, but still a relative novice. From her rowing days at university to quitting her job as a chef. Up against Lee Hye-jin, who's come through the Korean program and is mightily talented. 2 laps to go. First across the line wins, first across the line goes through to the semi-finals. Speed is being ramped up. There's a lot at stake here. 1.5 laps to go. Penultimate time they'll come out of turn 4. They can hear the bell. Jessica Lee, who led it out last time and stayed in front, is going to do the same here. She's at the front. She has half a bike length, but look at Lee Hye-jin come around her. They're in the back straight. Jessica Lee's hanging on here, but I'm not sure she's going to be able to do it to the line. Is there anything left in the legs? There is. Jessica Lee, but it's Lee Hye-jin who comes around in the home straight, and Korea Republic have their sprinter into the next round. Jessica Lee is beaten, and Korea with their rider into the next round. Just didn't have enough to give on the right-hand side. This is the margin of victory. Half a bike length. Translating to almost 500ths of a second. So the semi-final lineup sees Sarah Lee, Jong Chun-chi, Cho Sun-young and Lee Hye-jin through to the next round. Two riders from Korea, one from Hong Kong, China, and of course by virtue of the fact that two Chinese were drawn against each other in the quarters, one Chinese rider will be there. There's confirmation of those semi-finalists: Sarah Lee, Li Hiejin, Zhong Chanxi and Cho Sun-yong. And those semi-finals coming up. So the women's sprint semi-finals scheduled to start in around 9 minutes' time. So after another brief rest, the women's sprint competition has reached the semi-final stage. Sarah Lee against Cho Sun-young. And then Lee Hye-jin will take on Jong Chan-shi. You can see the draw happening down there. And spare a thought for the riders who have had to go that extra mile this morning. It's been a fairly intense morning of competition for these riders. Talking an hour and 15 minutes to taking quarterfinals, semi-finals. And then they'll have a bit of a wait before the finals this afternoon. Sarah Lee, on your picture there, had a pretty easy time of it against Ryu Ota in the quarterfinals. And now she's facing Cho Sun-young. Cho, who's going to have to go again very quickly. Is there anything left in the legs? Extra riding for her this morning. Say she's been softened up for Sarah Lee. Sarah Lee, the defending champion, hoping to make the final. Also the reigning Asian champion. But if you're the big name, you're the title holder, you're there to be shot at. Everybody will want to beat you. Sarah Lee Wai Zi of Hong Kong, China. Asia's sprint star in the women's division. Olympic bronze medalist in 2012 against Cho Sun-young of a Korean team. that has the feel-good factor about it. Chaw not looking around at her opponent. Lee staring confidently. She's in position 2 and can start this first of the best of 3 in this semi-final in the position she wants to be in. Half a lap down. First across the line, takes the lead here. Not quite at sudden death yet. Sarah Lee, who set a new games record in the 200 flying lap yesterday in qualification. One and a half laps to go. Chaw still at the front. Lee has her where she wants her. Does she have the speed? There goes the belt. And the acceleration by Lee already into turn 1. She's right on the wheel, glued to it in fact as she goes into the back straight. This is easy. This is far too easy for Sarah Lee. She's got it won already and knows it. 1-0. Can slow down over the line and takes the confidence going into the second. Only 61 km an hour, only in inverted commas, for that final lap, but that is relatively so for these superstars for a final lap. Showing how easy it was for Sarah Lee. Knew she had the beating of her opponent from the start. Has to do it once more in order to reach the gold medal match. She rolled past her in the back straight there. So Lee Hye-jin in action again and facing Jong Chan-shi. Jong with silver 4 years ago. Olympic gold medalist in the team sprint. Lee Hye-jin alongside her, already having taken bronze in the team sprint this week. Lee Hye-jin's got a quick finish. She was second at the Asian Championships in the Kirin this year. 8th at the Rio Olympics. But this, of course, is the big blue ribbon event. It's the sprint. And it's the 9th time we're having it at the Asian Games. China have dominated the history here. So there's a bit of pressure on Jong to keep this up. Only Sarah Lee, when she won 4 years ago, is the only non-mainland Chinese athlete to have won this. 8 victories for China. If Jong can pull it off this time, they currently have 7 out of the previous 8 competitions in the bag. They'll be wanting to win it for the first time since Guangzhou. Two laps. Lee at the front, Jong behind. Lee ever so slightly quicker than Jong in qualifying. Korea, China, semi-final time. One more lap to decide who takes first blood. And it's Lee at the front, Jong behind her. Jong's close enough, but she needs a big effort to come round now in the final bend. Turn 3, turn 4. It's Lee who's going to stay there, or is she? There was speed over the line, but was it in time? Jong gaining. Now, has she left her dot for the line too late or not? Both riders looking round at the big screen, waiting to see who will be decided. The winner is Jong. Jong just about has it. And it is 1/100th of a second. She was carrying the speed there through the finish line. And you have to say with that margin, that is perfect timing from the Chinese. Zhong goes one up. Li, though, will be confident that she can dig deep to find a way back in. Chapter 2 will be an enthralling read. Zhong declared the winner. See on the timing system, the gap is being readjusted. Oof. I'd like to see the photo finish of that. Here we go. Wow. I think that's certainly less than a hundredth of a second. That's the closest race we've had this week. Almost neck and neck on the line. Zhong has been declared the winner, but we're waiting for the final margin of victory. Doesn't matter, we'll see them straight after these repêchage events for the men. On we will move. Six riders on the line. First round repêchage, 2 rounds to come. This is the round that will see Bi Wenjun up against Terry Kusuma, Iso, Mohammad Daneshvar, the reigning champion, Sergei Ponomaryov, and Jai Angsutasawit of Thailand. The journey's on the way. Six laps. Remember, for the first 3, the Derny stays in front. No movement allowed in the bunch here between the riders, who are in the order that they've drawn. The order they've drawn is B at the front, Angsutasawit behind him, Ponomaryov in 3rd position in the blue and yellow. They've done a lap now. Daneshvar Khorram, the defending champion for Iran, in that classy retro jersey, in position 4. Position 5 in the blue, it's the Nicobar Islander Iso of India. And at the back, representing the host nation, Terry Kusuma, the Indonesian. One more lap of the Derny as they're slowly brought up to speed. They need to finish in the top half of the finishers to get through to the next round. Towards the back, you will be going home. Movement already. There goes the Derny. Daneshvar, the defending champion, doesn't want to miss out, making sure he's in the right position at the front. At the bottom, boxed in, is where you don't want to be in a bunch race like this. Angsutasawit has 2 laps to move up, but would need to move up the track to do so. Here's B, the Chinese, 1.5 laps remain. Now Iso making his move, the young talent who was so good at the World Junior Track Championships in Switzerland the other week. Angsutasawit waited, found his position. He has moved up now. Look at the Thai go. Half a lap to go. He's up there. B's chasing him. Ponomaryov as well. It's an exciting dash for the line. Iso's going to be knocked out. I'm afraid the Indonesian's going with him as well. But brilliant move from Angsutasawit of Thailand, just as when it looked as though he might be struggling down towards the back. He's made it through. And I can tell you, going with him, B and Ponomaryov. Bad news for the reigning champion, who is out. Said you had to finish in the top half. Daneshvar has finished 4th. And that is the headline of the morning. Mohammad Daneshvar Khorram, the reigning champion in the Kirin, will not move to the second round. It was tight at the top. We were watching the back with Iso and Kusuma. Angsutasawit wins by almost half a second at the end. really wanted to make sure, be in second place. Ponomyarov has finished third. And a further 10th further down, Mohamed Danishvar Khurram. It's goodbye. Disappointment for the Iranian. The 2014 champion will not contest the finals in 2018. There's confirmation of the results. 3 riders qualified. Ansutasawit, B and Ponomaryov into the next round. One round of repechage to go. Iran will have another chance with Eshan Khademi. This time there are 7 riders on the line. Lord Tsuchun, Pugu Admadi for Indonesia, Ranjit Singh, the Indian, Islamic Republic of Iran's Ishan Khademi, Pavel Vorzev, another Kazakhstani trying to get through. There's Oh Jae-seok of Korea, and representing Thailand, Pongtep Tapimai in the yellow again. It's a crowded field on the track, 7 riders there, 3 make it through. We had 6 automatic qualifiers from the first round. 6 more will go through repechage. We've seen 3 make it through already. We've seen the defending champion out. An unsuccessful defense of his title. Off we go, 6 laps. 6 decisive laps. Certainly for 4 riders here who won't make it through to the next round. It'll be back to the athletes' village and to watch the rest of the games on the telly. Oh, the gun's gone, the gun's gone. Now then, was there an error in how they set up? We will start again. Oh, somebody might be getting a warning here. That's one angry commissar. Fingers pointed at somebody. The camera is pointed at Ranjit Singh. What happened? They spotted something they didn't like. Remember, the riders have to stay in order. The order in which way they were drawn, pardon me, for the first 3 laps. Somebody moved beyond the wheel. They need some new caps in that thing. So the journey's back. The riders must restart their preparation. Okay. Whose coach is going to be given a telling off? Who should be in the right order? Unless the starters have put everybody in the wrong order. Well, Ranjit Singh goes to line up again. Not sure why we were focusing on him. There's been no communication of anything untoward. It wouldn't be the first time that the commissars had maybe got the order wrong, but the way we're focusing on Singh here, the pictures certainly suggest there may have been a movement that wasn't allowed. They'll go again, whatever happens. Korean coach holding up 4 fingers there to suggest his athlete should have been in 4th position. There we go. Indonesian athlete at the front in position 1. Singh, the Indian, in last position. And once more, the commissar will check the order. Well, no warnings given up on the timing equipment. No relegations. If there has been a decision made against a rider, a yellow card or a warning, it hasn't been made too clear. There's a shake of the head and a wry smile from the commissar, which suggests to me that it's those in the blue shirts that might have made a mistake. But anyway, we're underway again. Still unresolved, that one. If we find out, we'll certainly let you know. Bit of final day speculation, eh? Time for the verdict. So Singh, the Indian rider, at the back. At the front, Admadi of Indonesia. Behind him, of Iran, Khademi. Second to last in the yellow of Thailand is Tapimei. In front of him, Law of Hong Kong. Third place in this order, you have Pavel Vorzev of Kazakhstan. And right in the middle of the sandwich, the Korean, or Jae-seok in the white. They stay in these positions for another lap and a half. The Derny is gradually making its way up to speed. Riders getting on top of those big gears they're riding as well. The Derny will disappear in a moment, and it's time for racing. It all has to be left on the track here as Singh already tries to make his way up from the back. He wants to be in a better position, understandably so. There's some big names up at the front. Bit of looking around, bit of hesitation. 2 laps left. Borzev now makes his move. Oh, Jae-seok also on the right-hand side decides he has to move up. Borzev is there. He'd rather lead it out from the front. Bell goes. None of these riders want to give themselves too much to do or to be caught up in any argy-bargy behind. Borzev still there. Behind him for Indonesia is Admadi in second place. Remember, it's the top 3 who qualify, as it's the athlete from Thailand, Tapimei, coming up. Borzev is going to do this. It's 1, 2 and 3. It's Kazakhstan. It is Korea. And Indonesia may have just made it as well. We'll have to see. It is. It's Vorzev, Admadi and Orr who are qualified. Tapimei, Khademi, Singh and Law go home. Kazakhstan have 2 athletes in the next round. Indonesia have managed to get Admadi through. And Orr of Korea joins Im, his teammate, in round 2. So after all of that confusion at the beginning, everything working nicely. Pavel Vorzev, the winner by 700ths of a second ahead of Pugu Admadi of Indonesia. It was a crowded field at the front. Just missing out was Tapimei of Thailand. He finished 500ths down on Orr Jae-seok in the white and in the foreground of the last picture you saw. Pavel Vorzev wins that repechage race. He's off for a rest and he'll be back this afternoon for the second round. Men's Keirin final will be the final race we see of the day. One more thing to sort out though this morning, and it's the women's sprint semi-finals. We've had heat 1, now time for race 2. Athletes in the box and ready to go. Interesting with the Korean sprinter there. Might be a fine coming her way. No dark visors or glasses supposed to be worn in that area. It's all part of the game. Make the athletes look at each other. Let's have eye contact. We've seen it World Championships, Olympic Games before, where athletes have taken the fine and put towels over their heads. Ultimate concentration. The semi-final Heat 2 coming up. In the meantime, confirmation that Tapime was in fact relegated. Wouldn't have made a difference as he finished fourth in the end instead. Borjev, Admadi and all remain our qualifiers, and there's the final official results. And there's the official announcement to the velodrome, as with the protocol at track cycling. Any punishments, any relegations, any yellow cards have to be announced over the PA. Just make sure there's no excuse for not knowing them, as well as the paperwork that will be delivered to the respective coaches. Right then. I think it's time to go. Sarah Lee's got rid of the leg warmers. Sits alongside Jong, who she doesn't meet here. It's Cho Sun-young who is her opponent. Sitting right at the other end. Well, there won't be many people leaving the velodrome for the normal lunch break today. You're setting your watches around the continent to watch. Remember that the afternoon session starts earlier at 1 p.m. Still a lot of activity in track centre with riders getting ready. There'll be massages, food, maybe a bit of fresh air. But no time to go back to the athletes' village for those involved this morning and this afternoon. After the story we had with the commissar getting stuck in traffic the other day, you wouldn't want to risk it, would you? Just imagine. Did not start the final. Why? Stuck in traffic. Not something you want in the Asian Games record books. The record books in this semi-final so far say Sarah Lee 1, Cho Sun-young 0. By over half a second as well. It was an easy first match in the semi-final for Sarah Lee. Cho, who was coming off of that difficult ride against Jessica Lee. One match more on her legs than Sarah Lee, and to be fair, Lee has not really been tested this morning. I doubt she's put in a full power effort yet. She's not had to do. It's time to win or go home for Cho Sun-young. Go home translating to go to the bronze medal match at this stage of the competition. We're at semi-final stage. Sarah Lee wins this, she's guaranteed a medal of some sort, and she has a chance to defend her title won 4 years ago. Has to complete the job here and then think about the afternoon. Cho Sun-young needs to win this to force a decider. KG first, half a lap. It's been an entertaining week this week in the velodrome. We've seen Asian records and games records tumble. Korea pick up 3 gold medals, challenging China's dominance. Hong Kong, China looking for their second. 1 lap down, 2 to go. Sarah Lee in the blue and white. Behind in the blue, white and red, predominantly white, is Cho. Pace ramped up as they come through to take the bell now. Cho playing with the height of the boards. Sarah Lee going right to the base, she wants the position. Happy to lead it out here. She goes into the back straight, and look at this, 2 bike lengths already. Shaw doesn't look like she has anywhere near the speed required. It's easy again for Sarah Lee. 2-0 into the final, and it's a guaranteed silver or gold medal for Hong Kong, China. Shaw has to fight it out for bronze. Sarah Lee and her title defense going swimmingly. Nobody's managed to get anywhere near Sarah Lee this morning. Again, it's not a full gas effort. We have not had to see one from her since yesterday in qualifying. And we're seeing the advantages of qualifying the fastest as well. You get the easier draw all the way through. And even when it comes to riding against the bigger riders, the big names like Cho Sun-young, they generally have had to fight it out against tougher opposition themselves and are more tired. Talking of being tired, how's Lee Hye-jin feeling? Can Korea get an athlete into the final? They are guaranteed a medal of some sort. Jong Chan-shi looking to make it a repeat final of 4 years ago. She finished second to Sarah Lee when they contested it in Incheon. Confident look around at each other. This is what we like to see. Toe-to-toe stuff. And there's no reason that Lee Hye-jin should be lacking confidence. Yes, she's up against an Olympic champion in the team sprint, an Asian Games gold medal winner here already. But Lee Hye-jin is no novice. 26 years of age from Gyeonggi. Top 10 at the Olympic Games in Kirin. She's been an Asian champion previously. She knows all about the top level of the sport. How's the turn of speed looking this morning, though? And how's she going to react under pressure? This was a very close match in the first. We still actually haven't had an official time gap to separate them. I think this was the closest finish we've seen. Lee in the white, Jong in the red. Jong, a year older, 27. More decorated in terms of what she's picked up in the team sprint. That is China's top event, we know that. And they are the finest exponents in the world. There goes the bell. Jong at the front, leading it out in the red. Lee behind, and she's gaining into the back straight. Lee has pace, has power. Can she hold it? Turn 3, neck and neck. Turn 4, it's Jong at the front to accelerate again, but here comes Lee. Oh, it might be going to 3, this one. Let's check. It was so tight in race 1, and we had the same score in race 2. It's 1-1. And we're talking 100th of a second again. What a way to bounce back. Jong Chan-shi has to do it all again because Lee's back in the game. These two will have a sit down for the minimum time possible allowed amongst the rules and regulations, and then they'll be back on the track because there's more to be fought out here. A place in the final is up for grabs. Lee and Jong. There's been hardly anything to separate them 2 times on the line. What will happen in the final chapter of this story? Brilliant race in the final lap there. Hardly anything to separate them. Look at the speed, and it was the bike throw that did it in the end for Lee. Level, level, level. Wow. The gap has been adjusted, and we're talking 4,000th of a second. And on the picture, the width of the carbon section of the wheel, the deep section wheel, It's 1-1, and there's work still to do. Both athletes uncertain. China might not yet make the final. Well, the crowd will be entertained for a few minutes. We will be back with the semi-final decider right after this. And so to the decider. There's been hardly anything to separate these two. The entertainment of the morning provided by Zhong Chun-shi on the left-hand side in the red. And going again on the right, Li Hye-jin. 0.004 of a second in race 2. The difference in race 1 so minute that we still haven't been given a time gap. Photo finish on 2 occasions. They have to be separated somehow here in the decider. A place in the women's sprint final at the Asian Games is up for grabs. Zhong, the loser 4 years ago, in Lee's native Korea. In Korea, the surprise team in the cycling this year. 2 golds on the road, 3 on the track. 4 golds up for grabs still today. If you're joining us a little late this morning, we've had entertainment in the men's keirin. We have our list of qualifiers for this afternoon. In the women's sprint, Sarah Lee of Hong Kong, China's made the final, and we're about to find out who's going to join her. This afternoon we'll also have the women's and then the men's Madison. There goes the whistle. Time to ride. 3 laps to make a huge decision. The winner of this race will be guaranteed a medal, either silver or gold, at a race against the reigning champion. If it's the rider in red, it's a repeat of the Incheon final from the 17th Asiad. If Lee can make it, there's another chance for yet another Korean gold medal. And if Lee does make it through, then the chances of Korea finishing above China on the track medal table are greatly increased. 2 laps to go. Twisting, turning. Of course, we've seen pure speed between these two twice, but what is left in the legs? It's the 5th ride of the morning for these. Jong then at the front, 1 lap to go. Big decision to be made here at the Asian Games. Lee right in the slipstream, try to get onto her wheel. Off they go from turn 2 to the back straight. Jong on the black line, Lee coming around, but does she have the speed to come around in the home straight? It's coming up, it's neck and neck, it's going to be Lee! Lee into the final, Korea are flying! There's no stopping them this week. Jong can't make it 2 finals out of 2. She'll have to fight for bronze against Cho. And it'll be the 2 Lees, Sarah and Hye-jin, who fight for gold between Hong Kong, China and the Korean Republic. Plenty of confidence, no shortage of bravado at the start. Both looking at each other. But it was Lee who was looking behind as she passed the line first. Tactically brilliant throughout the race. Made her move at the right time. Jong had been forced to do a lot of looking around, a lot of wondering, a lot of pondering. And as they came out of the final turn, this was the situation. Turn 4, home straight. Lee to win this time by 3/4 of a bike length. No photo finish required. Lee Hye-jin is into the final. The best that Jong can hope for this time is a bronze. Well, she gave everything. And Lee Hye-jin has her award. For the bronze medal, we'll have Cho Sun-young of Korea up against Jong Chan-shi of People's Republic of China. That's coming up this afternoon session. And in the fight for gold, defending champion Sarah Lee Wyatt-ze of Hong Kong facing Lee Hye-jin riding for the white of the Korean Republic. Two sprint matches that promise much, and at the end will deliver the medals. So another exciting at the morning at the Velodrome comes to a close. We'll be leaving you in a moment. Don't forget to set your watches, your alarms, plan your afternoons differently today because we will be back at 1 p.m. local time, GMT +7, wherever you're planning your watching around the continent. And we will begin with a women's Madison. After that, we'll have the second round of the Keirin for the men. Sprint finals for bronze and gold for the women just after 2 p.m. before a men's Madison final and the Keirin that will end the day. 4 sets of medals to be given out. The exciting bunch racing of the Keirin still to come. And some of the fastest men in the world through easily. Others, well, suffering a fall or two. That in the case of Shu. Thankfully was able to walk away from that. We'll see this afternoon whether it's affected his health and his ability to push the watts or not. Im Chebin will be there. As will Azizul Hasni Awang, winner of the men's sprint 24 hours ago. Well, the women's sprint went all the way from the quarterfinals this morning. Chinese athletes drawn against each other, already hampering their chances of picking up the gold medal. Domination, though, from Sarah Lee, who's won every single sprint match so far, undefeated all the way through. Oh, she's about to put the icing on the cake yet again this afternoon. And as we've just seen, the second semi-final took 3 matches to decide. The best duel we've seen in the sprint competition, men's and women's so far, you'd say. Once it came to a third bout, only one winner, Lee Hye-jin, with a good margin of victory. More left in the legs, and she showed it over that final 50 metres. That's that for the morning action at the Velodrome then. Remember, we will see you in just under 2 hours' time. Until then, from all of us here, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
AIS Play รวมความบันเทิงคุณภาพเปิดความสนุกทุกที่ทุกเวลาส่งต่อความมั่นใจสู้ไปด้วยกันนะครับ